When the check arrived, she hesitated, then reached for a crisp bill, folding it neatly into the check presenter. Before closing it, she scribbled something on the back of the receipt. As the group rose to leave, Eleanor lingered for a moment, her eyes scanning the restaurant before stepping into the cool night. Later, Andre returned to the table and opened the check presenter. Inside, he found the bill and a note, written in delicate, slanted handwriting. "Your voice has a power I didn't expect. Thank you for reminding me what humility sounds like." Andre read the words twice, his expression unreadable. He tucked the note into his pocket, not as validation, but as a rare acknowledgement of something deeper. It wasn't an apology, but it was something. That night, Eleanor rode home in silence, her reflection in the car window unfamiliar. Andre's song lingered in her mind, challenging her to confront the ways she wielded her privilege. For the first time in years, she felt the stirrings of change, subtle but undeniable. Meanwhile, in his modest apartment, Andre placed the note on his counter. He didn't need Eleanor's approval, nor anyone's. His voice, his dignity, had always been enough. This story is a reminder of the quiet power of authenticity and the profound impact of respect. It challenges us to consider the weight of our words and the unexpected ways we can be changed by those we underestimate. It was a lively Saturday night at Haven's Table, an upscale restaurant in San Francisco's Marina district. The air buzzed with conversation, the clinking of crystal glasses, and the smooth melodies of a live jazz trio. Among the well-heeled patrons, tech executives, couples celebrating milestones, and friends toasting over artisan cocktails, sat Eleanor Gray. In her mid-50s, Eleanor exuded wealth and entitlement. Draped in designer attire and wearing an air of superiority, she commanded attention with her too-loud laughter and theatrical gestures. At her table, three equally polished friends indulged her, content to let her take the spotlight. A young waiter approached with effortless grace. His name tag read Andre, though he carried himself with a quiet professionalism that discouraged familiarity. Tall but unassuming, he recited the evening's specials in a low, steady voice, avoiding direct eye contact as Eleanor interrupted. "Why so serious, Andre? You're working at one of the best restaurants in the city. Smile a little," she said with exaggerated cheer. Andre forced a polite smile. "Of course, ma'am. Is there anything else I can assist you with?" Eleanor leaned back, swirling the deep red wine in her glass. "Tell me, how does someone like you end up here? This job can't be your dream." Laughter rippled through the table. Andre's fingers briefly tightened on his tray, but his face remained impassive. "I enjoy what I do, ma'am." Eleanor wasn't satisfied. She thrived on getting reactions, on making others uncomfortable. But before she could probe further, Andre excused himself, tending to another table. As the evening progressed, Eleanor's focus drifted back to Andre. He intrigued her, but not in a way that spoke of curiosity, more like a challenge she wanted to unravel. The wine flowed freely, sharpening her boldness, and soon her amusement turned to cruelty. When Andre returned to clear plates and refill glasses, she seized the moment. "Tell me, Andre, do you have any hidden talents? Or are you just good at carrying trays?" Her friends chuckled, though their laughter was uneasy. Andre, maintaining his composure, continued stacking plates. "I just focus on doing my job well, ma'am." Eleanor smirked. "Come now, don't be modest. I've heard that people from your background often have musical gifts. Can you sing?" The air shifted, even her friends stiffened. Eleanor, however, reveled in the tension, waiting for Andre's reaction. Andre straightened. "I'm not sure that would be appropriate, ma'am." Eleanor leaned forward. "Oh, don't be shy. Humor us. Just a little something." What do you have to lose? Silence settled over the nearby tables. The jazz trio continued playing, oblivious to the unfolding moment. Andre stood still, considering. Walking away would cause a scene, but indulging her felt like submission. After a pause, he nodded. "If it will make you happy, ma'am." Eleanor grinned, confident in her victory. Around them, diners turned their attention toward Andre, curiosity growing. Andre took a breath, his posture shifting subtly. When his voice emerged, it was soft at first, a deep, resonant hum that carried through the room like a ripple across still water. Then, as the melody grew, his voice expanded, filling the restaurant with something raw, aching, and unguarded. It wasn't just a song, it was a revelation. His voice wove a story of struggle and resilience, of beauty and pain. The melody, familiar yet freshly poignant, silenced the restaurant. Conversation ceased, silverware stilled, and even the jazz musicians set down their instruments to listen. Eleanor's smirk vanished. Her hand, which had been swirling her wine, froze mid-motion. The once bustling restaurant now held a collective breath, entranced. Andre's voice soared, each note vibrating with sincerity. A waitress wiped at her eyes. A chef peered from the kitchen, his expression softened with admiration. Eleanor's friends exchanged glances, their earlier discomfort replaced with awe. As Andre sang the final note, the room held onto the last echoes before erupting into thunderous applause. Patrons stood, clapping with heartfelt admiration. Some wiped away tears. Others nodded in silent respect. Andre exhaled, offering a small nod of acknowledgement before turning back toward the kitchen. His tray, still balanced on his hip, remained untouched. Eleanor sat motionless. The woman who had commanded attention all evening now seemed adrift. Her hands gripped the table as if steadying herself against the weight of the moment. Her usual certainty wavered. The applause continued, but she didn't join in. Instead, she stared at Andre's retreating figure, her face unreadable, perhaps a mix of shock, shame, and something deeper. As the restaurant gradually returned to its normal rhythm, Eleanor's friends tried to shift the mood with light-hearted chatter, but she remained quiet,